are together again on the radio. It's you and me, and, I know we've talked about this subject many times on this show, but I love when there is more documented evidence that what we've been saying all along is true. We're not just kidding around here. We try to have fun on the show, and we try to do the funniest, most entertaining show on in the afternoon or the evening, wherever you're hearing us. And I think that generally we get that done. But, just because we try to have fun on the air doesn't mean that we don't mean what we say here. It doesn't mean that the things we say are not important, or that when we try to alert you to something that we're just screwing around. We're not. Now, I've been telling you boys for years all the reasons why you shouldn't date single mothers. I don't say that just to piss off single mothers, although it frequently does. I say that for a reason. I say that because I know that most men, not all, but most men, date strictly to get laid. Most of us, when we meet a woman with kids, think of the kids as an obstacle we have to get over, or a way to manipulate a woman to give us what we want. Oh, isn't he cute? Your son is so cute. But we don't say to ourselves, hey, I'd like to take on the responsibility that the last jerk that you dated did not take on and pay all your bills for the next, 20 years or so. I'd like to do that. The vast majority of men don't think that way when we date. When we go out with a woman, we're trying to get laid. Sometimes we get swayed, or, we let the little head do the thinking. And for a period of time, we do nice things. And I say this, by the way, as somebody who's done it myself. I have been with single mothers. I have taken their kids to ball games, taught them how to play baseball. I have taken them to the park. I have taken them to the movies. I have hung out with them. I have listened to them cry to me about how they miss their dad. I've done those things. Because contrary to what many of our listeners believe, I like kids. What I don't like is women who think that we should pay for everything. I don't like the idea that because I'm dating you and therefore I'm nice to your kids today, that somehow obligates me to 18 or more years of paying you for the opportunity to spend time with your children. I go as far as to say that the last time I was with a woman who had kids, she was so exhausted from taking care of the kids, she would ask me to take her kids for a couple hours so she could sleep, which I did. There were times she needed to go out on job interviews, and I stayed with her kids. I did these things. I think to myself, what if this woman came back to me and said, you know what? Now I want money from you. I'm going to court, and since my kid thought of you as a father figure, since he wanted to take a bath with you, and since he wanted you to teach him how to play baseball and all those things, I'm going to go to court, and I'm going to say the kid sees you as his father, and therefore you owe me money. I was lucky to get out without owing money. And so I am telling you right now that if I were you, I would never, ever, ever get involved with a single mother. I mean it now more than ever. California houses 1/9 of all the population in America. And we have now seen a precedent set here where a man who was nice enough to take on his girlfriend's responsibilities, she had had a kid with a man who's now in prison. He took on the responsibilities. He paid the bills, helped out. Kid called him Dad. Mom lied to her son and said, that is your dad. It isn't. And now they're getting a divorce. Mom is coming after him for child support, and the California State Court of Appeals said, yeah, he owes it. There is no specific law that allows for this to happen, but they did it anyway. They made law themselves. There's only one way for men to fight back, and that is if you find out a woman has kids, run. Run. Run away. Don't hang around. I don't care what state you're in. We had 2 guests on this program who are experts in this field who said that to one extent or another, this is happening in every state in America. It's not just Washington. Because we have so many listeners in the state of Washington, we've heard from more of them, but this is happening to men in all 50 states. There is one way to fight back. Don't let the little head do the thinking with the big head. Don't have sex with single mothers. Don't date them. Definitely don't hang out with their kids unless you're planning on paying for the next 15 or 20 years. Don't do it. It will cost you money. Don't do it. Stay away. Now, you've heard me say this and try to add humor to it from time to time, and that's generally what we do. I'm speaking to you very seriously right now. I always mean what I say, even if we're kidding around when we say it, but I'm now telling you point blank. If you're dating a single mother, stop now. If you're thinking of it, stop thinking about it. The only time you should date a single mother is if you are prepared to accept responsibility, no contract, nothing in writing, but you will be forced at some point to be responsible for her kids until they're adults. There isn't a piece of ass in America worth that. So my word to you is you shouldn't date a single mother unless you want to take on financial responsibility, unless you want to pay her bills, because that's what you're going to end up doing if the relationship doesn't work well. If it does work out or it doesn't work out, you're going to pay. I'm trying to help you boys, and more children are being born out of wedlock, and that means more and more when you meet a woman, she talks about the father of her child, or she has to get home to the babysitter. And these are girls who are 19 and 18 and 21. Stop. Stay away. Stay away. Now, doesn't that make complete sense?
Tom Leykis. Tom Leykis. 100 Tom.
You sound like such a real nice guy.
I am anything but a nice guy.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. It's Ryan on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Yeah, Tom, how you doing?
All right, Ryan.
Yeah, I had a question for you. Okay, say a woman's got a kid with another man and he's already paying child support.
Mm-hmm.
Can the boyfriend be held responsible later also for child support?
I'm not a lawyer, but my understanding is that anything is possible in terms of double dipping and what have you. Anything.
Oh, okay. So nobody knows for sure then right off.
Do you want to find out the hard way? That would be my response to you.
All righty. All righty.
Do you have a girlfriend like that?
Yes, I do.
Well, I'm telling you, this stuff is happening to guys. By the way, how do you know the guy will continue paying?
Well, it's done through courts.
No, it doesn't mean anything. What if the guy disappears, leaves the country, dies, gets hit by a bus? Who knows?
Yeah, I see that.
Who's next on the list? You.
Yeah, I see that. But, yeah, I see what you're saying. Anyway, can you take me out of the bong rip?
Here you go, Ryan. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. Brian on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Brian.
Hey, I want to, first of all, I want to thank you real quick because 3 years ago I dumped that bitch of, I know it's 17-year marriage, but it just went south.
Uh-huh.
And my question is, and I'm really concerned with this a little bit, I am dating a divorced woman that she's actually, her family was Egyptian. She's an American. She's a registered nurse. She makes about $75, $80 a year, and she has a 3.5-year-old that she only has 3 days a week. And she has a pretty good deal set up with her ex, but I mean, she's great otherwise. She has a totally different attitude than any other. I remember you talking about not dating American women again.
Well, I'll put it to you this way.
Okay.
Would you still feel the same way about her if she decided to leave her job or got laid off from her job? Let's say she decided to leave her job to spend more time with her kid. Or she got laid off because the economy is bad. Or the ex stops paying or says, I don't want this responsibility anymore. And then the responsibility fell on you. Would you feel the same way about it?
Boy, that's tough. I mean, I still feel the same way about her, but the whole...
As long as she's taking care of the responsibility, you feel the same way.
Yeah.
What if you end up having to take care of it?
I did that for 17 years, man. I think he's great like you. I love children. I don't have anything against children. I just raising another man's son, which in this case is not the case right now. Mm-hmm. But like you say, possibly, who knows?
Right.
She is a surgical nurse. She can get a job anywhere in the world. I'm not really worried about that. But what if she decided, I don't want to work anymore?
Right.
And again, like you said so many times about the whole, that if you dated somebody else that's not an American woman, it is a different attitude. And I have to laugh because you really encouraged me. I'm actually dating an English gal who's, and you'll maybe be against this, she has no kids. She's 39, and she's a member of Mensa, and all she wants is just to have fun with me. And this other gal, like I say, she's an Middle Eastern background, and she's just fantastic. She does, dude, I walk in the door, she takes my shoes off, gives me a bath, brings me a glass of vodka, and bathes me, and shaves me. It's just...
Well, that's the attitude of women from other countries. There's no doubt about that. But you have to think, and you know what? Maybe you wouldn't mind. There are probably guys out there who say, I wouldn't mind. If it came down to that, I wouldn't mind. But if you would feel differently, if it came down to it, you really have to think about it.
Yeah, you're right. That's tough. It could be. I can't argue with it. I can't argue with anything. But
when you date a woman with kids, you have to think to yourself, would I mind taking on not only her baggage, but all of her financial responsibilities? Because you might have to.
Yeah. Yeah, she's. I suppose that's true of anybody, even if she doesn't have a kid.
No, it's not, because they can't make you do that unless you marry them.
Yeah. Yeah. God, that's incredible. I missed that very first part of what you said as far as the paying. I just had heard the tail end of that.
Well, we have a case here in California. Now, we've talked about this in Washington State.
Yeah.
We now have a case in California where a man got married to a woman who had a kid by some other guy who's now in prison. He married her, and she started calling the kid by his last name, even though he never adopted the kid.
Ooh.
She told the kid that this was Daddy. Didn't tell her the kid that Daddy's in prison, the real Daddy.
Oh.
She lied to the kid and said, this is the real Daddy.
Oh, jeez.
And now they're getting a divorce. The kid's like 10 or 11 years old, whatever. And now Mommy says, I'm going to get your daddy to pay up.
Oh, man.
And the Court of Appeals in the state of California has ordered him to pay.
Wow.
That could be you. Do you love this woman that much?
That's a tough one, Tom. Initially, I'd have to say no if it came down to that. But I really don't want to take care of any woman.
Mm-hmm.
If kids or no kids, you know what I mean, other than emotionally. But a woman that would say wasn't working or...
Well, there's two ways to prevent having to do that. One is don't date women with kids. Two is don't marry a woman.
Okay.
Or get a prenuptial agreement where both of you are represented by attorneys, where it is spelled out there'll be no alimony, no settlement. Everybody keeps what they earn.
she would do that if it came to that.
Well,
I mean, if I got that serious with her, I know she would do that.
Yeah, but see, you can't write child support into it. You can write it in, but it won't be enforced. If they decide you owe child support, it doesn't matter what your prenup says.
Wow. That sucks.
That's the fact, Jack. Take it from a guy who's been divorced 4 times.
Wow. Only 2 for me.
Well, keep
hey,
it up.
thanks for taking my call, Tom. And listen, get manners off and get you on here in Portland. This drives me nuts.
Well, Brian, hopefully we'll be doing something about that real soon.
Nothing against them, just everything for you, baby. It's all about you.
Thank you, Brian.
Hey, take me out to JFK Senior style, will you?
Here you go, Brian. Kimberly on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, I have a question for you.
Yes, Kimberly.
I just turned you on, and I'm curious to know, are these men, do they have to marry the women to be hooked up with their child support, or is it
No.
that they're dating with them and living
No,
with them?
it has nothing to do with the relationship with the mother. It has to do with whether the child thinks the guy is daddy.
So if he has his own place and they just happen to be dating for 5 years.
The fact is, Kimberly, there's no law on this subject in most cases.
Gosh.
Judges are deciding this on their own. And the way...
I can't believe any woman would be okay with...
I believe that if the single mothers of America can't get laid, we can start a political movement. It is my aim to boycott all single mothers. They're going to have to live with their vibrators for the next 18 years, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, then I'm glad I'm not a single mother, then.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Kimberly, thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Mike on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
Do you care, Mike?
I do care. I care so much. I'm glad to have you on today in Portland.
Thank you.
I'm sick and tired of you listening to the Mariners.
Yeah, I understand.
Nothing against them, but, you got to love the Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, you have changed my life, and this whole situation with the single mother thing is eerie to me. I was involved with a woman, happened to live in Washington, Vancouver, Washington, and we moved real fast. She had a 3-year-old son, and everything was wonderful, fantastic. And I started listening to Tom Leykis as she started to change, and I saw some certain things that I didn't like. And I think because of you, I made the change, and I left. And thank God I did, because she turned into a cokehead, into a psycho, and I guarantee I would have been caught in the middle of it. So,
Mike, I am so glad we were able to save you from that kind of life. Thanks a lot for the call.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. This is the Tom Leykis Show.
From Los Angeles, 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Greg on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Greg.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Good. Yeah, I live up here in B.C., and in Canada, it's pretty well the same across the country, but if you live with a single mother for 6 months, you're on the hook.
Holy cow, that's the law?
You're on the hook, and it's 1/3 of your income.
1/3?
It's 1/3, and it don't matter if she's got 5 guys ahead of you paying. You're paying too.
Oh.
It doesn't matter. Like myself, I got 2 kids, and if my wife and I were to separate, it'd cost me about $500 a month in child support.
Unbelievable.
And I don't spend $500 a month on myself.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. But like with my ex-wife, if she ended up on welfare here in B.C., the government can turn around and ask me for more support than I already pay. I don't pay any as it is. I wasn't going to pay for her kids that she had with another guy. And I don't.
But if she went on welfare, they could ask or tell you to pay.
In the province of B.C., the provincial government here will tell me I have to pay this amount. And they will take my wife's income into account, and they will increase it. And it doesn't matter if the 5 guys ahead of me are already paying. I'm paying too.
Ugh.
It's just disgusting.
Well, and you know what? Again, it's going to take a boycott of single mothers. That's what it's going to take.
Exactly. If she's single and she's got a kid, stay away. And if you need to go there, make sure you cover up.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to pay. And I got a buddy of mine up here on the island, and he's got a kid, 13 years old now, and she got pregnant and bailed. And he never saw this kid. And she moved into the same town he was living in, into the apartment building he was living in, no less, and her husband left.
Wow.
And she went on welfare, and he's paying. He never knew he had a kid until he had to start paying.
Wow.
And that, it just, and his ex, he has a kid with his ex. He pays for it. The guy after him pays for it. The guy after him that had a kid with her pays for it. And the guy after him pays for his kid and the other guy's kid.
That is totally insane. Thanks for the call. Wow. Paul on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How you doing, Tom?
All right, Paul.
First-time caller, long-time listener.
Thank you.
Hey, check it out. I got 2 kids by a woman here in Seattle, and the oldest isn't mine. He's 11, and I don't pay for him, and just because I didn't marry her, and that's the way it is.
But there is no real law, and judges are doing this on their own. You realize there's no law in the United States that I know of.
Well, I went through the court system, and...
But just because you got a judge that let you off the hook doesn't mean the next judge will let the next guy off the hook.
True that.
So, therefore, you can't date a single mother. And I'm not kidding about this.
No, you got me a 23-year-old now.
No kids?
No kids.
It is Seattle, after all. No kids, huh? Well,
no
good.
kids. Lives in Seattle, and she's got a great job.
Excellent.
Thank you, Tom. Take me out with a bong rip, will you?
Here it comes, Paul.
Thanks, Tom.
1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Mark on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, Tom, I just wanted to give all those guys, all your listeners, a fair warning. I married a single 19-year-old, divorced her after 10 years, and still raising her kid and paying for it.
Her kid? You mean by a previous relationship?
From a previous relationship.
Did you adopt the child?
I never adopted her, but the mother turned into a crackhead, and I took custody of the kid with her sister, one of my child.
Oh, so you agreed to take custody?
Yes, I went for custody and got custody from this loser mother. And I get no child support.
But you volunteered for this?
Yes, because...
See, that's not the same thing we're talking about. We're talking about guys who are looking for a little tail.
Right.
With a woman who happens to have a kid, and they get it, and then as a result, as they're banging the chick, they're nice to the kid. You know, they bring over a book, or they bring over a toy, or whatever. No, but it isn't because you volunteered for this job.
Basically, for 10 years, that's what happened to me.
No. You went for custody. You therefore volunteered to pay the expense.
Right. But
I'm talking about guys who just wanted to get laid.
That's what it started out as.
No. And then they were forced to pay. They didn't volunteer and say, I'll take custody of that child, please.
Okay.
They are being ordered to pay. They did not want custody. They did not want to be parents. They did not want to be parents to the child, or they would have adopted the child in the first place. They are being ordered to pay for children for which they took no responsibility.
Right.
That's the difference.
Right. Fair warning, though. It happens both ways.
Well, no, we know it happens your way.
All right, Tom, take me out with the bong hit.
All right, Mark, here you go.
Thank you, Jesus.
Tom Leykis Show, 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. I have spoken now seriously to you with absolutely no kidding around here, because I'm not kidding around about this. Men, you must stop dating single mothers, and now there's more and more legal evidence that proves that this could be very costly to you. Tricia on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello.
Is that a question or a statement, Tricia?
Yes. Actually, I just wanted to say, first of all, that I think it's ludicrous of women to ask men who are not their children's father to pay child support for them. I mean, that's ridiculous. But on the other hand, you shouldn't single out single mothers as being so terrible that that's all we're after is their money.
Well, who else is able to do that but single mothers?
You're right. Well, I mean, there are people who get alibis.
Then, therefore, they have to be singled out. I mean, the single fathers can't do this. The children can't do this. Senior citizens can't do this. There's only one group of people who can do this, and that is single mothers.
I do think it's right for single mothers to ask men who are not their children's father to pay child support. That's ridiculous.
But they can, and they do.
Well, then they're lazy women who want to sit around on their butt, and they've obviously found a flaw in the system that will allow them to do that. But if you are that child's father, and even if you are a single father and you are that child's mother, you should financially help. I'm a single mom. I work my ass off to raise my kids.
Well, that's not our problem, dear.
You know?
Our problem is if we end up having to pay for your kids. Now, by the way, even if you don't ask us to do it.
If you're their father?
By the way, even if you don't ask us to do it, if you lose your job,
right,
the state welfare department can come after us and make us pay, whether you want us to or not.
Then you go get another job.
Forget it. But if they're not my kids, I don't want to pay your bills. Right, and the way to avoid that is by never dating you.
If they're not your children, then you shouldn't have to pay for them.
But you do, and therefore, men shouldn't date single mothers.
The women who do that are insane.
But the point is, you never know. But the fact is, again, did you hear what I just said to you? Even if you don't ask for the money, if you lost your job, and you know how the economy's been the last couple of years, it stinks. If you lost your job, if you got laid off or fired from your job, and you went down and applied for welfare because you couldn't get another job right away, the state welfare department can go after whatever man you're dating and say, tag, you're it.
Well, I live in Maryland, and I know you have to be the paternal parent for them to go after you.
I'm telling you, this is not a law that's written. Judges are doing this on their own in various states. California and Washington and Illinois, to name three.
That is insane. That is.
Well, again, so we have to fight fire with fire.
Right.
I'm telling the men of America, don't date single mothers.
Right, and that is wrong.
Why is it wrong?
That is wrong, because not all the women are like that.
We don't care if all of them are. It only takes one. That's it.
You're saying that single mothers are like that, and that's so...
No, I'm saying that you have to avoid the situation by avoiding single mothers. Then no one can ever order you to pay, ever, under any circumstances.
That's just ridiculous.
But you keep saying it's ridiculous, but you don't give me a good reason.
Because not all women are like that.
No one said all women are like that. Listen, open your ears. No one said all women are like that.
You know,
it doesn't matter if all women are like that or not. The fact that this could happen means people have to be careful. That means not dating women with children.
So men can't do this, right? Men can't take do this to women?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. But I mean, women who do that are just wrong. And
they are, and therefore, men shouldn't date single mothers.
I don't agree with that.
Well, that's because you're a single mother who wants to get laid. But the bottom line is that men could end up having to pay. Whether you want them to or not.
Who wants to get laid?
Of course you are.
Okay. See? So stereotype. Yeah, I'm a single mom who was trying to raise my children to be good and respectful and not have to worry and grow up like these men who are so stereotyped and who judge women so poorly.
Oh, I see. And let's review. You have 2 children?
Yes, I do.
By 2 different guys?
Yes, I do.
Were you married to these guys?
I was engaged. I was with my daughter's father.
I'll take that as a no. You were not married.
I was with my daughter's father for 8 years.
And I understand you spoke to Dino, and just to save time of having to interrogate you, am I to understand that one of these men is a heroin addict?
Yes, he is now.
What do you mean now?
Well, he wasn't when I dated him.
He was just using recreationally at that time?
I'm sorry?
He was using drugs recreationally at that time.
I or he?
He?
No, he wasn't using any when I dated him.
I see. So
he was a heavy drinker. He was a very heavy drinker.
Really? Why were you with a heavy drinker, dear? Miss Responsibility over here. Why?
I've known him for years, and
so because you knew him for years, that meant it was a good idea to get involved with a heavy drinker.
I didn't realize that he had such a violent temper.
Well, you know, when people have a drinking problem, they frequently have other emotional issues. You didn't know that?
Yeah, I do know that.
But you said, what the hell? Stick your penis in me and impregnate me. Right?
Believe me, I didn't want another kid.
Well, why did you have sex with a guy like that?
Guess it was fun at the time.
Okay. Now we see the level of your responsibility.
Yeah, I was young.
Yeah. How young were you, dear?
I was 21.
21. Mm-hmm. Hang on a second. Jack, what do you want to say to Tricia here?
Okay, man. Dating or having sex with a single mom is like having sex with someone with AIDS. You might not get it, but, you might get screwed in the end.
Oh, you guys don't do that to us back. Okay.
What was that?
Go ahead.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that having sex with a single mom is like having sex with someone with AIDS. I mean, you might not get it, even if you wear a condom, but in the end, there's that chance that you're going to get screwed over, so why even deal with it?
Very good analogy.
But, okay, well, I mean, the man can he can't financially screw you over just as well, but he can emotionally screw you over as well.
Not the same thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're still getting screwed.
Now, by the way, nobody can emotionally screw you over if you don't allow it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, why even put yourself in that situation?
I am saying that all single mothers are not out to do that to men, and you.
No one said they are.
No one with AIDS wants to give the other person AIDS, But it might happen. Why put yourself in that situation?
That's something that should be pretty much even more cautious of. That's
right, both ways your life is over.
Your life is over?
Yeah, if you have to pay for this kid till he's 18, you might as well be dead.
Wait, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you there. If it's not your child, you shouldn't have to pay for it. And I can't believe that judges would do that. You're right.
But they do, and because they do, then we shouldn't get involved with you, period. End of story.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.
I'm not asking somebody to support me. I'm asking somebody to be my better half.
More intelligent than you are.
Yeah, I just want a guy to be my equal. It'd be great if he made more money than I do.
I got your equal right here.
Yeah, I bet you do.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis, only on Hot Talk.
Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Crystal on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hi, Tom. It's Crystal. I just have a problem here.
Why?
I've been listening to you. I listen to you a lot lately because my station came up with your show, and I've been listening to you.
Yeah.
And my problem is not that you stereotype, but you don't give credit to the people that are actually looking for something true.
We're not here to give credit to anybody. We'll leave that to the Academy Awards. We are here to warn guys how to avoid giving money to people who didn't earn it.
Well, what about the women who aren't looking for somebody to become their kid's parent, their kid's dad? What about the women who are looking for somebody who's going to be with them for the rest of their life? They're not looking for, men to take over the...
I'm sure that's what happened in the case of Sean Pedregon, who's now being told he has to pay child support on children that are not his. He got married. He intended to stay with the woman the rest of his life, and when he didn't, he said, I don't want to pay child support. This kid's not mine.
Well, it's sad for those people, but you're telling men not to date any single mom.
Right. Avoid this problem.
Right.
What do you mean it's not right? Of course it's right.
Not right. What about those women what about those couples who work it out? You're telling men it's not giving women who are looking for something real a chance. You're telling these women that they're not, they're not worth anybody's time.
No, they're not, because we may end up having to pay them.
Well, not the ones that are seriously looking for somebody to care for them.
What if they lose it? What if they lose their job? The judge could say, you have to pay child support, buddy.
Well, that's sad for those people that end up in that situation.
That's why they should avoid the situation at all costs.
No, it's not.
Of course it is.
It's sad when those situations come out, but when...
Oh, yeah, it's sad. It's more than sad. These guys are practically bankrupt paying these bills. No, absolutely not. Men, stay away from single mothers. Don't listen to her. Our email address is my name. It's tom@blowmeuptom.com.
The Tom Leykis Show.